Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mike from Instagram. Thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. Hope you learn and educate yourself from it.
In 1998, 19-year-old Melvin Eugene Avant was gunned down in a chilling crime that has haunted Rocky Mount, North Carolina, for decades. In the early morning hours of December 29th, around 1:40 a.m., Melvin was on the phone with his brother Andre as he was being chased through the streets near the intersection of Looper and Mullins. Andre vividly recalls hearing the sound of footsteps and his brother's desperate voice pleading with his pursuer, saying, "You don't have to do this," moments before gunshots rang out. Melvin collapsed, fatally wounded, while Andre listened helplessly on the other end of the line, realizing too late that the voice he was hearing belonged to his own brother. Avant's family was devastated, and Andre has since spoken publicly about the trauma of hearing his brother's final words and the frustration of knowing his killer remains free. "He has a killer still walking around eating, living, enjoying life," Andre lamented, criticizing the lack of progress in the investigation. Melvin, a young African-American man with his life ahead of him, was pronounced dead at the scene, his murder quickly classified as a homicide. Yet despite the clear circumstances and the haunting detail of Andre's eyewitness account via phone, the case went cold. The Rocky Mount Police Department has faced criticism from the family and community for failing to bring closure or justice, with Andre describing the case as just another cold case. More than 2 decades later, Melvin's murder remains unsolved, a painful reminder of the violence that can shatter lives in an instant and the lingering grief of families left without answers. His story continues to echo in Rocky Mount, a symbol of both tragedy and the urgent need for accountability in cases that too often fade into silence. Just a heads up, there were conflicting accounts of the years this tragedy happened. A few websites said 1999, but his gravestone says 1998, so I chose 1998. Rest in peace to Mr. Melvin, and my condolences to the family. I hope justice will be served one day. In 1998, 22-year-old Sophia Abril and her 18-year-old friend Rebecca Gonzalez were brutally murdered in a Phoenix apartment in a crime that remains unsolved more than 2 decades later. It was the day after Thanksgiving, November 27th, when police were called around 4:30 a.m. to an apartment complex near 55th Avenue and Indian School Road. Neighbors had reported hearing gunshots, and when officers arrived, they found the apartment door wide open and the 2 young women lying dead from multiple gunshot wounds. Witnesses said 2 men had been seen leaving the apartment immediately after the shots were fired, but despite descriptions of the suspects, both Hispanic men, one with a shaved head and goatee, the other with short black hair, no arrests were ever made. Sophia had only recently moved into her first apartment, and her mother, Carmen, later recalled the devastating loss, describing her daughter as someone who loved to laugh and enjoy life. "There was no reason to take these 2 girls' lives," she said, insisting that the killers must have told others about what happened. Rebecca, just 18, was remembered as a vibrant young woman, whose life was cut short before it had truly begun. Remembered as a vibrant young woman whose life was cut short before it had truly begun. The senselessness of the crime rattled the community, with one frightened neighbor telling reporters at the time that they planned to move out by the end of December, unwilling to raise children in the shadow of such violence. Despite the passage of years, the motive for the killings has never been revealed, and the case has grown cold, leaving families desperate for answers. In 2011, more than a decade after the murders, Carmen Abril admitted she still dreamed of her daughter and held on to hope that someone would come forward. Today, the murders of Sophia Abril and Rebecca Gonzalez remain one of Phoenix's haunting, unsolved cases, a chilling reminder of lives stolen and justice denied. Rest in peace to Miss Abril and Miss Gonzalez, and my condolences to both families. In 1999, 20-year-old Eddie Guerrero and his 30-year-old sister Lisa Guerrero were brutally murdered in a crime that continues to haunt Albuquerque, New Mexico. On the night of August 24th, the siblings were discovered shot inside their car, parked along Sunny Slope Road in the city's South Valley. Lisa was pronounced dead at the scene, having suffered multiple gunshot wounds, while Eddie was rushed to a local hospital, where he fought for his life, but ultimately died 4 days later from his injuries. The Guerrero siblings' deaths shocked the community, leaving family and friends devastated and demanding justice. Despite the severity of the crime, the case quickly went cold, with no arrests made and no clear suspects identified. Years later, the tragedy was thrust back into public attention when Albuquerque residents began seeing billboards featuring the siblings' faces and the chilling message, "You know who killed us." The campaign reignited interest in the double homicide, urging those with knowledge of the crime to come forward. Investigators confirmed that the siblings had been parked in the 200 block of Sunny Slope Road SW when the fatal shooting occurred, but the motive remained unclear and leads dried up. The brutality of the attack, coupled with the lack of resolution, left the Guerrero family heartbroken and the community unsettled. Lisa, remembered as a vibrant woman, died in Startley, while Eddie's final days in the hospital underscored the senselessness of the violence. The billboard campaign served as both a memorial and a call to action, reminding New Mexicans that justice had yet to be served. More than 2 decades later, the Guerrero case remains one of Albuquerque's most haunting cold cases, a chilling reminder of lives cut short and the silence that often follows unsolved murders. For the family, the hope endures that someone will one day break that silence and bring closure to a tragedy that has lingered far too long. Rest in peace to both Mr. and Ms. Guerrero, and my condolences to the family. In 1995, 42-year-old John Anthony Balin became the first homicide victim of the year in Santa Clara, California, when he was discovered shot to death in his car in the underground parking garage of an office building at 1265 El Camino Real. On the morning of July 10th, at approximately 7:15 a.m., police responded to a call reporting an injured man inside a vehicle. When officers arrived, they found Balin slumped behind the wheel of his 1984 gold Porsche 944, suffering from a single gunshot wound to the neck. He was pronounced deceased at the scene. Investigators noted that the right passenger window of the Porsche had been shattered and the car appeared to have struck the cement wall of the garage, suggesting a struggle may have taken place before the fatal shot was fired. Family members later reported that a distinctive ring Balin always wore, a panther figure with an uneven nugget surface, was missing, raising suspicions of robbery. A nearby resident recalled hearing what sounded like a gunshot between 2 and 3 a.m., but did not notify authorities at the time. Balin, who lived in Sunnyvale and worked in Palo Alto, was known to frequent gay bars and bookstores for adults in San Francisco, Mountain View, and San Jose. He was last seen alive at Renegade's Bar on Stockton Avenue in San Jose before his murder. Despite these leads, no weapon was recovered at the scene, and the suspect or suspects remain unidentified. Police speculated that Balin may have been targeted, but the motive has never been confirmed. His death shocked the local community, particularly within the LGBT circles he frequented, and remains a haunting cold case decades later. Authorities continue to urge anyone who knew Balin or who may have information about his final hours to come forward, hoping that even the smallest detail might help solve the mystery of who killed John Anthony Balin and why. Rest in peace to Mr. Balin, and my condolences to the family. Rest in peace to all of these beautiful souls. You will never be forgotten. Thank you everyone for watching. If you can share this case with someone, please do. I encourage everybody to write or call any police department and demand them to look into cases that have been cold for years,